One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart of steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. A metal mayhem that will never die. With engines roaring, he paves his way. A legend in the making, day by day.
Wow, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have a humongous morning to get through this morning. Great to see everyone in the chat. No rest for the wicked, man. I can tell you one thing. It's funny that I would even expect there to be any little break in the news. Definitely not. Big shout out real quick. We got Troubles coming in with the 440 gems, which is $4.40. Very much appreciate that. Saying Unk Alert. Yes, sir. Appreciate that. And it looks like I get the gem notifications on StreamYard now. So I'm very glad about that they finally fixed that. All right. And thank you, Trouble, for that. Okay. So what we're going to be discussing first, let's go over the title. Trump escalates Iran, as well as soldier identified, which we do have that for you guys as well. And of course, the new strikes. Last night was our 10th consecutive night of strikes on Iran. And we also have a lot of updates on some stories that we, were showing and presenting yesterday. So let's go ahead and give you guys the chronological timeline of what we're going to be discussing this morning. First, we're going to be talking about, remember NYC, how there was an incendiary explosion or whatever the case is. Yesterday, we reported on that, and we really didn't have a lot of information. We didn't have video. We didn't have shit. Well, now we've got video. Isn't that great? We got video now, and I couldn't find it on the other mainstream channels. I had to find it on social media. But nonetheless, anyways, so we're going to be talking a little bit about that real quick. And then we're going to be hopping on into Iran, of course. Iran's supreme leader fled country, by the way. IRGC writing his, quote, statements report claims. Uh-oh. Homie's not feeling safe in his own country. What's going on? Then we got Border Czar Tom Homan, update on ICE operations. He has one of those, what do they call it? A gaggle? You know what I mean? Isn't that funny how a press gaggle? Yeah, so there's that. We have that for you guys. And then also the FBI coming out regards to a whole different thing, it looks like. It says, FBI, NYC suspect fired airsoft rifle. So it says, FBI says 43-year-old suspect, former U.S. Army soldier, Andrew Arabaca, has been identified in the NYC incendiary device incident. Oh, so it is tied to this guy. FBI officials say the suspect yelled derogatory terms about ICE. He served from 2001 to 2005 as a Patriot missile systems mechanic. And so we do have some more information, not only on this, but we have more information on that guy in general. Just the video of him, what he's done. Also, some descriptions of things that I think is important, such as what he was carrying on him and stuff like that, weapons. All right, let's move over into a little bit of a thing here. A judge says Paramount and Warner must halt their merger for at least 2 weeks. Not really sure why, but of course, when we're talking hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, of course, there's going to be some complications especially with any type of mergers. Now, 16 hours ago, this is a big deal. I think this is something that our Canadian friends are, of course, not going to like at all. Trump slaps Canada with a 50% tariff over alleged trade discrimination, he says. I'm not really sure what the discrimination is against or what it is specifically he's talking about. We're going to find that out together. Then we have Middle East latest. Trump orders 10th day of strikes against Iran. That's when we reported that last night. We were reporting on that in the Discord, and I actually posted that part on social media as well. Then we have U.S. strikes Iran for the 10th consecutive night, which is just, I think, an update. Maybe there's some sort of information that comes out from this, or maybe he's just bringing on an analyst and we'll just skip right past that too. Then we have Trump warns Iran, quote, will pay for deaths of U.S. soldiers, coming out just 11 hours ago. Now, we already know that, they're already paying right now. That's for damn sure. Then some interesting news comes out 9 hours ago. Okay, so this came out about 1 a.m. for me, my time, Central Standard Time. Mexican drug kingpin El Mayo sentenced to life in prison. It says Mexican drug kingpin Ismael El Mayo Zambada was sentenced in a U.S. court on Monday to life in prison. Prior to his arrest in 2024, Zambada, one of the most powerful drug lords in the world, was a key target for the U.S. government for years in its bid to take down leaders in the Sinaloa cartel. Interesting. Then we also have some updates in the Gulf regarding this tropical storm Bertha, they're calling it, strengthens in the Gulf. So we're keeping an eye on everything. Also, real quick, since we're already right here, let me go ahead and just bring this up so that you guys know exactly what we're talking about on the aspect of the 10th consecutive night. My little stats I got here, I always show what I look up and what's actually being sourced here. So in the regards to just last night, I asked this question basically 10 minutes before we went live. So U.S. strikes night 10, according to CENTCOM and reporting from Reuters and the Associated Press. The U.S. targeted Iranian military command and control centers, ballistic missile launch sites, drone launch and storage facilities, air defense systems such as SAM and radar sites, and maritime military capabilities, threatening shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, including a coastal surveillance and anti-ship infrastructure, Reuters says. It says, why are these targets? The Pentagon says the objective remains to reduce Iran's ability to launch missile and drone attacks and also protect commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz and respond to the recent Iranian attacks that killed U.S. service members. Now, Iran's response to all this, of course, is going to be the same circle that we've been in right here. Iran and Iranian-backed forces continued retaliatory operations, including continued strikes against Gulf states aligned with the United States, ongoing threats and attacks affecting shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, of course. Iran officials publicly stating the country is now at a full-scale war while insisting they will continue retaliating. Now, real quick, says one note for the show, CENTCOM has not released a detailed battle damage assessment or a complete list of individual locations hit from last night's operation. This is something that I really wanted to show you guys because I went above and beyond as well. Anytime that strikes are going down, I like to figure out exactly where the strikes are and why we're striking it, right? Now, unfortunately, CENTCOM just tells us what they hit, but not where. And we do have some video that's coming out from CENTCOM that's being unclassified currently. So, of course, we're going to go through all of that as well. So that's what we're looking at for this morning. We got a lot to discuss, as always. Now, quickly, let's go ahead and do our call to actions, and then we'll get into the madness of the morning. Make sure you guys hit that like button, double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side. I very much appreciate it, and it's free to do so. You know what else is free? Is hitting that subscribe button. It's what we do Monday through Friday, and then, of course, we have members only on Saturday morning. It's a good time, man. Speaking of members, please consider becoming a member starting only at $4.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. A little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time breaking news, as well as politics, all that great shit. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. And we have a Discord server for all of you legends. If you guys want to join it on that, we have where it's nonstop, minute by minute breaking news in the Discord server, we have a specific breaking news section. So not only do you have the community to hang out with the IWF, but we also have the minute-by-minute plays of what's going on. Last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms that are scrolling around the screen at any time. You can donate to those. And, of course, I get 100% of the proceeds. And yes, sir, it feels ultra good to be a G. Of course, you guys know that I'll read out loud anything that comes our way, just like a normal super chat. I've got my email up. Always be scanning. At least I'm trying, you know. Real quick, we got Brother So Loud coming in with the 1,000 gems, by the way. That's $10 saying trophy cake. Yes, sir. Appreciate that. That's the gift that he gave, was a trophy cake. Very much appreciate that. Good morning to you guys. And let's see who we've got here. Why is my thing all messed up? Here we go. Let's see. We got Carney Vanguard in the building, by the way. And thank you for the coffee crew raid this morning from Carney Vanguard in Motorbaum, Virginia. I very much appreciate both of you guys. Good morning. Let's see. We got Virginia Chaos in the building, Rabbit of Chaos as well. And we got Easy Frank and Naomi. Good morning to you guys. We've got Tommy in the building. Shout out to my man, by the way. Let's see here. Did I say we got Bill Castle? Yes, we got Bill Castle from the West Coast, my man. Good morning. Let's see. We got Brother PJ as well as Brother So Loud. Always appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. We got Richard as well as Vanguard Critters. Good morning. Good morning. We got AU as well as Hardwire. Shout out to you guys, man. We got a lot to discuss this morning. Obviously, as you guys can see here, we got Two Wheel Jesus as well. Trouble. Yes, sir. And thank you for that 440, by the way. Appreciate that. We got Prez as well. Good morning. Running our way down as fast as humanly possible. I promise. We got No Grow. Good morning. We got Mr. Jack Talcott. Yes, sir. Great to see it in the chat. Happy Topless Taco Tuesday. And hopefully you're having a blessed one so far. I definitely know that we are. Rolling our way down here. We got OG Steve Easy. Shout out to my man. And yes, Naomi says, hit that like. That's facts. Then we have Steve Easy saying, ICE is gay, but so are terrorists. I agree with that sentiment, by the way. That's pretty funny. Let's see. We're running our way down here. Let's see as fast as possible. We got Tiffany. Good morning. Great to see you in the chat as well as Pablo. Shout out to you guys. Steve Easy saying, waiting on the homie to come by the pad and do some day drinking. That sounds like a good time, bro. Let's see. We're running our way down. It looks like we're almost caught up. Looks like we're good. All right. All right. Sounds ultra good. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into in the aspect of the story that we presented for the first time yesterday was breaking about the ICE facility over there in New York City was targeted, had an incendiary problem. Well, we didn't have many pictures, images, details of what was going on. It was all breaking when we were presenting it. So we actually have the updated video and context to what's going on here. And I loved how Josh Barevla, or however you say his last name, Josh from Live Now from Fox was reporting it yesterday while it was breaking. And he's like, yeah, I'm not sure if this was a targeted attack. And I'm sitting there going, no shit, it's a targeted attack, motherfucker. Of course. Of course. You know, duh. Anyways, so let's go ahead and bring this up. Here we go. This is the first video. Check this out. No audio on this, but look at this guy. He's running with like a can of gas, a big, it almost looks like a 5-gallon bucket from like Home Depot. Look, boom, he just spills a whole bunch of fluid on the, and then he lights it. There it goes. Boom. That's it right there outside the NYC ICE facility. And then fireworks start popping. You're going to start, hold on. I'm going to show you guys the other images that I got here as well too. Waiting for it to go through. See, cops are now just seeing it like, what the fuck? Why is this on fire? Look, they're nonchalantly just walking over to it. Now they're starting to get cautious. Like, oh, this is an attack. This was an attack. Now they're running. See? Oh, they got him. Somebody got him. Look at that. Holding that motherfucker. Oh, shit. I didn't see this part of the video. This is hilarious. He didn't make it far at all. Instant. Wow. I'm surprised we didn't get this video out right away because it looks like this was some video, obviously, from like whether it be another building or it may be a helicopter. I don't know at this point. All right. So you guys can see he's in custody there. Let's go and bring this up. So what we know about this situation here. So he's a 43-year-old man, Andrew Arabaka, I don't know how to say his last name, is a former U.S. Army Patriot missile systems repairman who served from 2001 to 2009. The FBI also revealed that he had a cart filled with anti-ICE literature, yelled derogatory anti-ICE remarks as he was arrested. He was carrying multiple weapons. Now he's in federal custody. So obviously you saw a little bit of this video, but you can see fireworks are actually popping off while he's getting arrested down here, just 50 feet from where he lit that fire. Didn't make it very far. Let's see. So, of course, we know that already. We got another ground view of this guy now. Fucking crazy, yo. I don't think we got video. Taking him off. Okay, so hold on. Let me mute this again. It says right here, items recovered from the suspect on scene: 2 axes, 1 hammer, 1 machete, 3 knives, 6 incendiary devices, 2 airsoft rifles, fireworks, and wearing a military-style helmet. NYPD said he appeared to fire 5 to 7 pellets from an airsoft rifle. What? Anti-American, anti-ICE sentiment. Anti-ICE literature found in his cart. Yelled derogatory terms to ICE during arrest, and FBI called him an anti-American, anti-government extremist. And then it says the timeline here: Sunday, he left Harlem and took the subway to Penn Station area. Overnight, stayed on the street near the Holland Tunnel, and then around 5 a.m. traveled to the area of the federal building, and then shortly after 8 a.m., approached the location where the incident occurred. The FBI says that he was intentionally targeting the building, and he was okay if he was hurt or killed people, whether they were federal employees or civilians. So that's the details that I've got for you guys on this whole thing. Now, unfortunately, the mainstream isn't really picking it up like that. Like I just picked it up for you guys. They just showed some images there. But nonetheless, at least you guys know what's going on in the regards of that whole story. Okay, we got to get into Iran now. We got a lot of news going on, obviously, in the regards to Iran. Iranian supreme leader fled country, IRGC writing his statements, report claims. Okay, let's figure out what the fuck is going on here. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Give me a second here.
Right there on the right-hand side of your screen, taking a live look over the Strait of Hormuz as we get to the latest information coming in on the situation taking place between the U.S. and Iran. I'm going to pop up this video here on your screen. This is coming in from the Associated.
Yes, by the way, you don't have to like all this craziness, but you guys can hit the like button for me and what we're doing here. So I very much appreciate it. Thank you guys for your contributions, being in the chat, hitting that like button, your donations. It goes a long way. Now, real quick, I want to point your guys' attention to this video, because it is crazy. I saw this the night of, and I couldn't tell exactly where this was. Now, this is supposedly the attack that happened over there in Jordan, where we lost a couple of service members. Let me go ahead and show you guys this video, and I'm also going to play it at normal playback speed, okay? We're not speeding this up. Let's just go ahead and watch it for what it is.
The U.S. and Iran. I'm going to pop up this video here on your screen. This is coming in from the Associated Press,
and then watch it
appears to show a strike there on a U.S. base over the weekend over in Jordan, as the U.S. military has officially identified 2 of the 3 American service members killed when Iran struck that base again over the weekend. And you're going to see their names appear on the bottom of your screen there. The Department of Defense, also known as the Department of War, saying
What's up, Texas Gidget? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, and thank you for bearing with me. We had a lot that we had to break down in that little segment
short time ago that the 2 heroes killed are First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan, a 25-year-old from Hawaii assigned to Fort Bragg in North Carolina, and Private Isabella Gonzalez, a 19-year-old from Texas assigned to Ansbach over in Germany. 2 other American service members were killed in Iranian attacks over the last several days. And I want to pop this up on your screen coming in from Fox News as they break down a little bit more. We know that another...
Okay, now that it's over with the video, I'm going to put it on 1.25 playback. Oops.
Of those service members was killed at that base in Jordan, and a 4th service member died in Iraq while conducting a controlled detonation of an unexploded device from an Iranian drone attack. President Trump asked about all of this. Take a listen.
Well, we feel very badly, but those great.
And we played this this for you guys yesterday as well. This very clip right here. This is right when he was leaving. I think this is yes, I think this is right when he was leaving the World Cup. Yes.
Well, those great patriots were out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, but we hit them very hard again tonight, and we did that in honor of the probably three. It's probably three as opposed to two. Great patriots.
All right, and of course, that was President Trump as he was asked about a variety of topics, but one of them right there was related to, obviously, the situation playing out there in Iran. Now, there's a lot of other developments here, and I want to pop this up on your screen. It's coming in from the Israel War Room, and you can see that.
Before he talks about what the Israel War Room is putting out, real quick, we got Seymour Cannabis in the building. Shout out to my man. And yes, you know what we're lacking right now is exactly what's in your name there. Well, counterclockwise tobacco, of course. But anyways, let's go ahead and pull one out. Actually, that's a thinner one. Let's get the fatty out here. There we go. All right, we're good to rock and roll.
Here, where it says, where in the world is Mashtaba
Cheers.
Khamenei? It says Mashtaba Khamenei, quote, is not in Iran. That's according to Al Haddad, citing an Israeli.
So that's the new supreme leader, and he's no longer in Iran? Sounds like the Israel War Room has some Mossad information.
The security source, his written statements are reportedly being written by IRGC chief Ahmad Vahidi and other IRGC leaders. Of course, if you've been watching all of this play out, you know that despite being named supreme leader, Mashtaba Khamenei has not been seen since the U.S. and Israeli strikes in late February that killed his father. Mashtaba was a quote-unquote no-show at his father's day-long funeral.
That's hilarious, PJ. Yes, theoretically, I guess it is. But you know why? It's because on Saturday, I went up to my parents' house and we were having some sort of dinner or whatever. And we had some guests over or whatever as well. And so I have my little stuff on me. I go up there, do my thing, and I forgot my lighter up there. So, and I haven't gone back to go grab it. So I have the only lighter that I got in this house right now, at least that I can find.
Leading to more questions about his condition and whether he's even alive. Now, as you can tell, there's always a lot to discuss here. So what I want to do is bring in Jonathan Saye over at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies to help break it down, as always. Jonathan, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us.
Hi, Josh. Great to be with you again.
Good to be with you. And first off,
okay, we don't really need to hear too much from Jonathan this morning, but we will get his front monologue from this, and then we've got to move on. We got so many stories to go through.
I want to talk to you about the questions relating to Mashtaba Khamenei and the new reports that are circulating.
Dude, I've never even put anything up my nose. I've never done anything more than left-handed tobacco and drinking. To be honest, never got into drugs, never got into pills, never got into any of that shit. So. You guys can talk shit all you want, but I never got into none of that shit.
He is not even in Iran anymore. He has essentially fled the country, leading to even more questions about where he is.
No, that one's in my car, actually. That one's in my car.
His condition, whether he's even alive. Break down for folks right now what we know and what we really don't know.
The key angle about Mushtaba's leadership, or lack thereof, is that
you be safe out there and make sure you drink, some good whiskey for us.
He's not in the scene. Now, whether he is dead or for whatever reason incapacitated to lead or out of the country.
No, it's not really the honest thing. It's not because I'm, honestly, it was because A, I have an addictive personality and I wanted to prevent that. And B, also I have an OCD control issue. I have to always be in control. So it's really not for me being like, oh, I'm a goody motherfucker. No, it's just I'm a control nut. That's why.
All three of these scenarios have one effect, which is the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and the military apparatus further dominating the decision making. Now, that said, Mushtaba's father, Ali Khamenei, the second supreme leader of the Islamic Republic, had opinions that very much aligned with the IRGC to begin with. So maybe from an internal dynamic, this would solidify the Guard's control over power. But when it comes to the decision-making of Tehran, it's not really going to change the calculations because the stance was very much aligned in a sense of no concessions, saying no to dismantlement, maximizing the war and the cost against the adversary, targeting regional allies. So in the big picture, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. But that said, also internally, the regime support base that is trying to track who their leader is. And of course, in these authoritarian systems, you do want to.
Well, that's hilarious. I would assume that you would know. But, I grew up in a certain, not only in motorcycle club culture and stuff like that, that was a little bit later. But a whole bunch of my past, whether I was, because I also played in multiple bands, touring bands. And so a lot of my bandmates were using, you know what I mean? And I'd be offered it all the time. I'm like, stop offering me that bullshit.
One centralized figure in a fascist sense to lead the masses inside and outside Iran. So that's maybe going to alter that to an extent. But again, like as I said, in the big picture, these individuals that are fighting for martyrdom and live in a different jihadi paradigm are not going to be deterred by not having one particular leader. But that said, it does make it more challenging for us to get a deal with Tehran, given that, again, it's not fully organized as to who the supreme decision maker is.
Well, it would be the Speaker of the Parliament, right? So that's their like HNIC right now. Unfortunately, their supreme leader obviously hasn't shown himself, and supposedly, if he is alive, he just fled from the country. So, anyways, we don't need any more from Jonathan. I'm gonna be real. He does a great job at what he does, but we really don't need to beat a dead horse. At least we know exactly what's going on here. We're going to have to move on. Yep, that's what we're going to do. All right, here we go. We got Border Czar Tom Homan gives an update on ICE operations 20 hours ago. And so we've got an update. We got a press gaggle, they call this bullshit. You know what I mean? Here we go.
I want the American people to see.
We're not going to play the whole thing either.
What that ICE officer sees when he takes action, and I think it's going to help ICE with the false media that's out there about it.
But then how did the administration roll back with the Biden administration trying to get body cameras and all?
That's a question about me. I'm someone. I came back, and then when Democrats shut the government down, I was a part of that negotiation team up on the Hill. They kept going to Minnesota. All the mistakes they say happened in Minnesota. I don't think there's a lot of the mistakes they claim in Minnesota. A lot more. I don't think mistakes. But one thing they asked, we want body cameras. I said, well, there's money, $120 million in the bill you're holding up for me to buy the body cameras. So the reason there's not body cameras nationwide right now because they shut the government down. And anybody doesn't believe that, look it up. Now that we have the funding, body cameras have been purchased. As of last week, they were training the trainers. Body cameras are being deployed.
What's up, Steve Posey? You've already missed a whole bunch of information, but great to see you in the chat, my man. Good morning.
The country, training the trainers so they can go to Boston Field office and train everybody. Here's how I use it. Here's how long I need to keep the tape. And it just wasn't the funding for the cameras either. We had to hire a lot of people to handle FOIAs. Because I'm sure all you don't FOIA cameras every day, right? So we got our people handle the FOIAs. We got in the storage capability of holding millions and millions of video. That's expensive. But now we got the money that's being implemented.
You just said that in Minnesota, what happened wasn't a mistake with the shootings. That
I said Democrats claim all these mistakes were made, and when I sat down with them, they said, well, they want a mask off. No, we're not taking a mask off.
You're saying it's not a mistake. Do you have an update on the investigation that they made?
No,
So he said regarding the masks, and he said, no, the masks are not coming off.
Yeah, look, I went to Minnesota, and I said, from day one, it was not a perfect operation. There were several chains of command. I had a problem with the targeting. I went on there and made changes. I brought additional internal affairs agents in. We created one chain of command. And I see a lot of people out there saying,
yeah, and that's also what kept me very straight so loud. I worked in the Department of Transportation, theoretically under the Coast Guard and all that stuff. That's where my licenses came through. And so, yes, of course, I was randomly drug tested as well. So, and I got into that business when I was 18 years old. You know what I mean? So, Kitty, stop it. So I got into it very early, and so it kept me very straight because it made me get to the point where I didn't even need to experiment or anything like that to just see how it was going to go or whatever. It was because, listen, I'm going to lose my very, very well-paying job. Yeah, so.
We surrendered Minnesota. No, we didn't. We got agreements that keeps that city safe.
Be good, Bill. Appreciate you. And Easy Frank as well.
And keeps the aliens safe. Because the more aliens we can arrest in the safety and security of the jail means less criminal aliens being released to the street. So we're able to go up there and continue the operation.
Tom Homan, he is, the way that he kind of just blabbers under his breath, the way that he speaks, it makes it fucking hard to really actually listen to. Not going to lie. I'll let him go for another maybe minute, and then we got to move on.
But we had unprecedented agreements where less criminal aliens are hitting the street, which is good for that state, good for that city, and safer for our officers. That's a win across the board.
On the ICE officer in Maine, is there any more clarity on how he got his job, considering the vetting concerns that his wife has raised? Are there
they're asking good questions, so I got to let them answer these good questions.
Changes coming to the vetting process of ICE agents?
That's a question for ICE. That's under investigation. I'm sure that part now is part of the investigation. We'll let the investigation play. I'm not going to comment on the investigation as it's ongoing.
The New York Times found a review that 550
Mark Wayne
people
Mullen as the DHS secretary. What would you describe as the difference between his management style and the management style of his predecessor?
Hell yeah. We got Steve Posey coming in with the 2 spot for the dues and the late fee. Very much appreciate that, by the way. Thank you for making it rain in the chat. Thank you, kind sir. Good morning.
Let me say this. Someone shared an X post this morning. There are people out there who want to attack this current administration. They don't think we're doing enough. There's an X post this morning that someone shared with me. Someone named Marianne or somebody. The ICE was arresting 3,000 aliens a day last year. No, not once. Not a single time did we arrest 3,000 aliens. And now they say we're arresting 2,000. We're hitting about 2,000 pretty steadily. Like I said this weekend, I looked at the data. Arrest rep.
Now this I absolutely can get behind, man. We got way too many old motherfuckers that cannot relate with general normal people of today. You know, that's the unfortunate part is we got people that are in government that are supposed to represent me and you. And unfortunately, these guys are so out of touch. I would say on both sides of the equation that basically everybody needs to be kind of thrown out. You guys did enough. You had your turn. Now it's fucking our turn, you know? So anyways, I agree.
40% over the same time period that we've been funded. Now, I've been frank from the beginning. Numbers were down for a few months because the department was shut down. Of course, numbers won't go down.
Yeah, and if not term limits, then at bare minimum, age limits.
When targeting less and officers, you know, less overtime and all those other reasons, when you shut, you know, the government down, there's going to be less to do. So, and I was very honest from day one. The numbers were down 12 to 16%, but now the numbers are trailing up 40% because we are fully funded. I thought they're doing the job. But I'm really tired of the false narratives going out there about what this administration is doing. The numbers are up. Last month.
Yes, and we definitely don't have enough likes in the freaking chat. We got to get the likes up, man. Double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. I very much appreciate that.
Highest numbers of arrests in the history of the agency.
How many?
Then
Yes.
I see people say, wow, you're combining.
Absolutely. And usually it corresponds with them being in office too long. Usually these guys that are 80 years old, yeah, they didn't get elected the first time ever when they were like 75. You know what I mean?
CBP numbers or Coast Guard? No, I didn't. The numbers I quoted this weekend were ICE numbers. So I wish people do a little bit of research before they start attacking this administration, what we're doing
That's
right
true.
now.
That's true,
Numbers higher
Richard.
than ever been. And I'm sick and tired of people saying we're not doing enough. That's an insult to every ICE agent that's strapping up every day, working 6 and 7 days a week to get this done. It's an insult. These men and women are acting professionally. They're out there making record numbers. And people want to question numbers, you know, I guess that's your right. But let's compare facts.
I just have a question about the difference in the management
God damn, Pablo, that's fucking hot. That's way too hot.
style of those.
Me and Mark Wayne want to get along.
Hell
well.
no.
And you know, he cares about the mission. We serve different roles. I used to CBP reports to Mark Wayne Mullen. I'm here. I help Stephen Miller.
Okay, we know all this bullshit. We're gonna move on. We have to. So we have some officials, governmental officials. I guess the FBI makes a claim that the NYC suspected fired airsoft rifle. Obviously, like I told you guys, I gave you guys what he actually was carrying. Since we're going right back to the story, real quick, let me go ahead and just share, just to remind the folks of what he had on him before he did this whole thing. So items recovered from the suspect on the scene. Now, this is in regards to the man that lit up New York City's ICE center. And he had in his cart or whatever 2 axes, 1 hammer, 1 machete, 3 knives, 6 incendiary devices, 2 airsoft rifles, fireworks, and wearing a military-style helmet. NYPD said he appeared to have fired 5 to 7 pellets from the airsoft rifle. All right. Also, let me go ahead and show you guys a little bit of the destruction that that he did, what he caused right here. He just threw down a bucket of gasoline or something like that, and then he lit it. Boom. And then there's a box of fireworks in there, too. What's up, chatting with Stacks? My man, good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat. That's hilarious, VC. Hell no. But yeah, and then he runs about 25 feet away from where he just did that at, and then he fucking gets caught. I mean, yeah, of course, she's right there, and the cops are all just standing around. So, let's go ahead and get this latest report, though. Let's see what's happening.
Good afternoon.
A governmental official press release.
I'm James Barnacle, the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI New York Field Office, here joined by the Commissioner of the world's finest police department, New York City Police Department. Thank you, Commissioner Tisch, for being here. And Jamie McDonald, the Deputy United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Today, just before 9 a.m., a man by the name of Andrew Arabaca, A-R-R-A-B-A-C-A, arrived at 26 Federal Plaza, just behind us on Worth Street, at the employee entrance to the building, where he ignited gasoline. He poured gasoline onto the ground.
That's what I assumed it was. It looked just like that. I mean, he just threw a whole bunch of water. Yeah, you know what I mean? Hell no. And then he lit it.
Ignited it with a lighter and an incendiary device. That device was a firework, a large firework in a canister.
I've had those before.
That proceeded to catch on fire. Pretty big flame, as you've seen on the internet. He then pulled out an airsoft rifle and fired 5 to 7 pellets, if you will, in the direction of 26 Federal Plaza. At that time, Federal Protective Services, 2 officers, a gray suit, a contractor with Allied that is employed to guard this building. And those 3 people and the 2 officers standing behind me in the blue shirts are the officers that intervened and took Mr. Arabaca into custody. Well, he had him on the ground. An FBI agent jumped in.
The ones that actually took him down is right there.
And they put handcuffs on him and took him in the building. He is currently in custody, and he has been interviewed. Arabaca is a former United States Army soldier. He was enlisted for approximately 4 years, serving from 2001 to 2005. He was a repairman or mechanic on Patriot missile systems. He is 43 years old. There were injuries in this. 3 people were injured, minor injuries, 1 civilian and 2 government employees. Right now, our evidence response team is out working with NYPD and our New York Joint Terrorism Task Force to collect evidence, to conduct interviews. We have located a vehicle of Mr. Arabaca's. We have seized that vehicle. We are procuring or obtaining a search warrant. Mr. Arabaca came armed with bad intentions. I will say that 26 Federal Plaza has long been a target of extremists, of terrorists, and today.
Now, real quick, I just want to let you guys know, this is not like some just random homeless dude that went off his rocker or some bullshit. Let me go ahead and bring this back up. Look at this, the timeline. So Arabaca, this guy that we're talking about here, this is the timeline. Sunday, he left Harlem and took the subway to Penn Station area and then overnight stayed on the street near the Holland Tunnel. And then around 5 a.m. traveled to the area of the federal building. And then shortly after 8 a.m., he approached the location where the incident occurred. So that's what we're looking at as a timeline for this fucking guy. Here we go.
Today, the extremism was brought here. The building was attacked. Mr. Arabaca was looking to injure people and harm people. He had 2 axes, a hammer, a machete, and 3 knives.
He has a whole bunch of shit. Well, guess what? 1 gun is better than all of that shit.
Blade knives. He had, as I said earlier, 6 incendiary devices or fireworks, and he had some other destructive items. Going forward today, like I said, we'll do more.
I like how he actually used fireworks, like as if.
More interviews.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, you need to stockpile a whole big stack of them, not just 1 single box of fireworks. You know.
We'll collect more evidence, and we will. And I'll leave to Mr. McDonald to talk about charges. We take this very.
Oh shit, Steve Posey. No, I didn't.
Seriously. On his cart, he had a cart. He had anti-ICE literature on it. When he was.
Yeah, I'm sure by now they have seized all that property and all that shit.
Arrested, he yelled derogatory terms to ICE, used bad words, obviously. He is an anti-American, anti-government extremist. We know that from what he said. We know that from what he has said post-arrest. And
what's crazy to me is that he only made it like 25 feet away from where he did the. I mean, there's cops in the video where he's actually doing it. You can see cops like half a block away from him. What are you doing?
We know that from what his actions that he tried to take today.
On the street.
So I will turn it over to Police Commissioner Tisch.
Thank you, Jim. Good afternoon. I am here to provide some additional details about this morning's incident.
This is the police commissioner? Jesus Christ. This is the woman that gets to decide how the cops have to deal with shit.
outside of
Yeah, fuck Jesus Christ.
26 Federal Plaza. This remains an active investigation, and the information that we have is still being gathered and is subject to change. At approximately 8:30 this morning, a call came in to New York City's 911 call center that there was an active shooter outside of 26 Federal Plaza in Lower Manhattan. 2 additional calls in the subsequent minutes reported an explosion and a male setting off fireworks at the location. Units from NYPD's 5th Precinct responded within 2 minutes of the first.
It is New York City, though.
911 call, and by the time they were on scene, the suspect had already been taken into custody by federal officers. The suspect has been identified, as you just heard, as Andrew Arabaka, 43 years old, of Poughkeepsie. He is believed to be a U.S. Army veteran. His last known address was up in Harlem. His vehicle, a black Toyota RAV4, was located parked in the vicinity of West 124th Street and Broadway, and that vehicle is subject to search pending a search warrant. The entire incident unfolded in view
Well, they're going to get granted that search warrant pretty damn quick. I'm sure they already did.
of an NYPD camera positioned on the southwest corner of Worth Street and Broadway. Video and witness statements describe the suspect's actions as follows. At approximately 8:30 a.m., Mr. Arabaka.
Yeah, we already know. We know the timeline. So quickly, I just want to show once again, real quick, the actual, like how far away this guy fled from the area and see how far he got before he got caught. I mean, it's embarrassing. Like, what the fuck are you doing? All right, it's got no audio, but look at this. He's about to drop. Apparently he's got some sort. They keep referring to a cart. He's got a cart full of all of these things. So I'm guessing a shopping cart or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, he runs up with like this 5-gallon bucket of it looks like a 5-gallon bucket from like a Home Depot or something. And what the FBI has already claimed is that it was gasoline. And then he dropped fireworks all in this area and then kind of lit this area up. Well, there's cops all the way around this motherfucker. All the way around this building, there's cops down the street from him. And they nonchalantly, they don't even rush to him. They nonchalantly walk over to him and get him down. Watch this. There he goes. He's dropping it. There's fireworks on the ground. That's what he just moved. Boom. Now he lit it up. Now look where he is. Okay, he's going to get caught up right up here. Wait for it. He's grabbing his cart. There's cops right there. There's 2 cops walking. Literally walking. They're like, oh, there was an attack. Let's continue walking, though. Let's continue walking. Okay, so now, boom. He's right over here, up at the top. There he is. He's right down, fucking 25 feet away getting it. Oh, my God. There's this little cart. Oh, okay, it wasn't a shopping cart. It looks like one of those little... what you would take, when you go on you go to the park with your kids, young toddlers. Looks like one. No, it does look like a shopping cart now. The angle it made it look different. I don't know. Can't really tell. Anyways, now he's hemmed up right there. And so he didn't make it far. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on into this next story. Okay. We got Judge says Paramount and Warner Brothers, must halt merger for at least 2 weeks. Now, I actually don't know why, but we're going to find out together. I'm assuming, anytime that we're talking about this kind of money being exchanged or bought out or merging, whatever, when we're talking about this much money, there's going to be a lot of legal shit that goes in between it.
Meantime, we have additional breaking news that I did want to get to, which takes us to this. This is from the Associated Press stating that a judge says Paramount and Warner Brothers must halt their merger for at least 2 weeks, granting the request of a group of 12 states. And a little bit more, as a federal judge moments ago ordered Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery to halt their $81 billion merger for at least 2 weeks, allowing states that are challenging this deal more time to see their case through in court. So there are 12 states in all, led by California, who sued to block Paramount's pending buyout of Warner last week. This alleges that this combination would, quote, extinguish competition in Hollywood and lead to fewer choices for consumers, especially moviegoers and cable customers across the U.S. The state's top prosecutors called on Warner and Paramount to not close the transaction until after a court had time to fully evaluate their claims. So we're continuing to get reaction from lawmakers. This is from Senator Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts. As she was talking about this, she says that's a win thanks to the state attorneys general who stood up and pushed back. Let's keep up the fight. So we're continuing to get reaction right now. The district judge who oversaw this granted this when the companies refused. That's when they filed a temporary restraining order, opening the door to potential preliminary injunction that the states are also seeking to effectively block the deal. So some breaking news right here. And this is from New York Attorney General James saying, we just won a court order stopping the merger of Paramount Picks and Warner Brothers. While our lawsuit continues, we're going to keep fighting to keep costs down for consumers, protect jobs, and stop this illegal merger. So some breaking news there. As a federal judge has ordered Paramount and
calling it a legal merger.
Warner Brothers Discovery to halt their $81 billion merger for at least 2 weeks.
$81 billion.
Allowing states that are challenging the deal more time to see their case through in court. This is from California Attorney General Rob Bonta saying, my office and attorneys general nationwide have secured an emergency order blocking the unlawful merger of Paramount and Warner Brothers. This is a critical first win in our case to ensure this mega merger never sees the light of day. So some breaking news, California.
So they're really trying to stop that. Interesting. Okay, well, I mean, I'm not a legal scholar on those kind of things, so of course I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm not a legal scholar. Period. So, anyways, let's go into this next story here. This was breaking 16 hours ago. My apologies. 16 hours ago. Now, this is going to be a bummer for our Canadian friends here. I'm sure they're not going to like it, but Trump slaps Canada with a 50% tariff over alleged trade discrimination. Now, I'm not actually sure what the actual claim is yet, so let's go and bring this up and figure it out together here. Oh, also, you know what we haven't done? We haven't done any of the proper parts because we've got so many stories. I'm trying to fit them in as much as possible. So let's first embrace our fuck ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
We shall always embrace that process, especially around here. And we're getting special requests for the sandwich.
Man, motherfuckers talk all the shit they want. But you see me, I'm sitting up here snacking on this big ass sandwich, not getting a fuck. Kiss my dick, motherfucker.
Yes, sir.
Denied.
All right, let's go ahead and get into more of the madness. Oh, we didn't do the money part either. Let's just get it all out.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Now that is actual factuals.
Denied.
Okay, all right. Enough of that bullshit. Here we go.
All right, we come back.
Hit the like button, everybody.
Breaking news, everyone. I'm your host, Mike Page. Always great to be with you. And here is what we are learning from Reuters. The United States is imposing a tariff of 50% on a wide range of Canadian products in response to what it's called Canada's treatment of U.S. cars, alcohol, and dairy, according to the White House. So this is what we are learning right now from Reuters. Also, the Associated Press putting this out, saying President Donald Trump today imposed 50%.
So I read a little ahead here. So what is called Canada's discriminatory treatment of U.S. cars, alcohol, and dairy, according to the White House.
Tariffs on most Canadian goods, declaring that Canada has unfairly discriminated against American autos, alcohol, and dairy products. The move could unleash a new wave of economic
What's up, GEG? Good morning.
Chaos, with risks of higher inflation and further fraying of relations between two nations that had been closely woven together before Trump's return to the White House. The administration official previewing the action said that Canada was one of the only nations other than China that retaliated against Trump's previous tariffs and must be held accountable. So that is what we are learning right here. Also, this is an update from the United States Trade Representative saying Canada has maintained pervasive trade practices that have disadvantaged American farmers, manufacturers, and workers. For example, all but 2 Canadian provinces and territories have halted the purchase, distribute, or retailing of U.S. alcoholic beverages and have not imposed.
So the alcoholic beverages that they're particularly talking about over here, they actually show a graph over here from the USDA. Also from Foreign Agriculture Service and Global Agriculture Trade Systems, which is GATS. So we've got wine and related products showing on a graph from 2024 to 2025. And distilled spirits, same thing, and beer, the same thing.
Restrictions on other countries from March 2025 through February of 2026. Canadian imports of U.S. alcoholic beverages decreased by about 81% compared to the same period in 2024 and 2025. So that is the latest right now in the trade wars that are going on. We'll keep an eye on that for you.
Listen, I'm just going to be honest. Sparking up or trying to play a trade war with the United States, whether you're right or wrong, is not a good idea, because trade wars end up they'll stay trade wars. They can be trade wars for a minute, but I'm telling you, unfortunately, what does trade wars always lead to if all else fails? Actual real war, which of course nobody is going to want that, right? Of course, from U.S. and Canada, of course, no one would like support that shit. But we got Sterling Wheel in the chat, my man, saying, "Good morning, kids. I am not hungover." Yes, I'm not hungover either. I was actually thinking that I was going to be a little bit slowish, but nope, not today. Feels ultra good. Let's go ahead and move on into this next thing here. 16 hours ago, Middle East latest at the time. This is when it was breaking of that 10th day strikes against Iran. Now we actually have the breakdown. I read at the top of this live stream exactly what happened last night and what we were specifically targeting. But now we're going to go over to the mainstream side and watch it break, because this is just a 2-minute clip, and then we're going to go into a little bit more details. Oops, I thought I was sharing my screen. I guess I'm not. Here we go. Give me a second. 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
From Fox, we come back to you with more breaking news. We want to talk about the U.S. once again striking Iran for the 10th consecutive day. This was put out by CENTCOM a little bit ago, saying today at 4 p.m. Eastern, U.S. forces began a new round of strikes against Iran at the commander-in-chief's direction. The strikes are designed to further degrade Iranian military capabilities used to attack commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. And this 10th consecutive night of strikes on Iran is a push, of course, to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. But it also comes as the U.S. announced the death of more American service members killed in the Middle East during the controlled detonation of a downed Iranian drone. This coming from Fox News on X, saying the Pentagon has identified the soldiers.
So I wonder if he's going to bring up. Nope, he's not going to. Let me go ahead and show you what she looks like. Give me a second. I'll find it.
From Iranian attacks in Jordan as 19-year-old Private Isabella Gonzalez and 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan. First Lieutenant Feehan was assigned to 2nd Battalion, 55th Air Defense Artillery Regiment, 32nd Army Air Missile Defense Command, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and Private Gonzalez was assigned to 1st Battalion, 57th Air Defense Artillery Regiment, 52nd Air Defense Artillery Brigade, 10th Army Air Missile Defense Command in Germany. The deaths come as fighting across the Middle East continues to escalate, with the U.S. and Iran clashing over the Strait of Hormuz and Iran's nuclear program. The renewed exchanges of fire, now in their second week, have seen the U.S. target Iranian bridges, electrical facilities, and more. Also putting this out, President Trump on Truth Social saying every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over. This directive has been passed on to Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Daniel Kaine, and every leader in the military, and then signs it President Donald J. Trump. Also, Caroline Leavitt says on X, President Trump will attend the dignified transfer of our fallen heroes tomorrow evening at Dover Air Force Base. The president and the entire White House are praying for their families. And yes, a very, very dark time for the American military, of course, with these 3 losses now. And again, President Trump will be there for the dignified transfer. We will have full coverage for you tomorrow as that is happening at Dover Air Force Base. We'll take another 2-minute break, everyone. Stay right here with us.
So no break for us. I've got the actual image here. I thought World Star actually posted it, but it wasn't. It was Fox. Okay. So this is the picture that came out. 19-year-old Isabella Gonzalez identified as soldier killed by Iranian strikes in Jordan. Now, she's one of two in that particular ordeal in Jordan. And yesterday, of course, we discussed how one of our drones up there in Iraq and one of our bases up there, unfortunately, blew up and also killed a service member. But just total, I mean, literally, 19-year-old kid, and I'm like, I even left a comment. I saw it yesterday. Here it is. I said, poor baby, God bless you, and thank you for your service. Yeah, it's sad, man. All right, let's go ahead and get into, let's see what this is here. It looks like we've got a little bit of video or something like that. Let's see regarding the actual strikes.
We're getting some new video from CENTCOM
yes,
showcasing.
This is what I was hoping we would see.
The latest in the strikes against Iran out in the Middle East. Take a look at this video of, once again, strikes. Now this wrapping up the 10th consecutive day of these strikes, and this all coming on the heels. Unfortunately, it was a bad weekend for the military, of course, losing service members, learning that just over the weekend. And we did learn some new news that earlier today, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that the dignified transfer would be happening tomorrow. But just about 30 minutes ago, we received the news that the dignified transfer will not be happening tomorrow. We are awaiting an update on when that is going to happen. U.S. soldiers coming back, and President Trump was slated to be there to receive them along with their families and friends there. So we'll be keeping an eye on that one here for you. But again, just the latest video being put out by CENTCOM as this war has a feeling that it is once again ticking back up. In a Washington Post just put out an article about 2 hours ago talking about how the U.S. is teetering on a full expansion once again of this war. So we'll be keeping an eye on all of the details.
Hey, I absolutely think women should be in the military, but I think that they should be in a support role, like medics. I mean, women make great medics, by the way. Okay. Anyways, let's go ahead. I digress on that. Real quick, we got Brother So Loud that sends in a 10 spot, by the way, saying, thanks for the great content, bro. Oh, hit the like, ballers. Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Make sure you guys hit that like button, double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side. I very much appreciate you guys. You don't have to like it for all the craziness that's happening around the world, but you guys can like it for me and what we're doing here on Insane Wheels. So thank you for that. Thank you So Loud. I very much appreciate your contribution to the show, man. You always support us, and I'm very honored by that. Here we go.
The latest of what's going on in the Middle East being reignited as the United
States update
and Iran teetering on a
I misread the number here. Well, we'll skim through
close to all-out war over the weekend. The exchange of attacks now in day number 10 on civilian and military structures continue to escalate, with at least 3 U.S. service members killed since combat resumed a week ago. But we do know, according to CENTCOM, that the strikes on day number 10 have come to a close. They completed another round of strikes. They struck Iranian military command centers, maritime capabilities, missile, drone launch sites, air defense systems to degrade Iran's ability to continue attacking commercial vessels flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. And President Trump was expected to attend the dignified transfer of some of those individuals tragically lost during this. But Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, saying the dignified transfer no longer taking place. The exact day and time are still being finalized. President Trump was supposed to be attending that, but earlier today we learned the identities of 2 of the U.S. service members killed in action on Friday at the base in Jordan, that being the 19-year-old private.
We have not yet. This is actually the first time I'm seeing the second person that died, which is 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler James Freehon. Damn. And I haven't seen the image of him yet.
Isabella Gonzalez and 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan. You can see some of their images of Isabella Gonzalez.
Okay, so that's Texas. The image I just showed you guys.
And the First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan from a native.
There he is. That's
Hawaii.
The first time I'm seeing him right there.
For more on this and the latest strikes, let's take you out to Alex Hogan with the latest update.
One of the deadliest weeks for U.S. troops since the conflict started. The military today identified those killed as 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan of Hawaii and Private Isabella Gonzalez of Texas. She was only 19. Footage shows the moment an Iranian strike hit the U.S. base in Jordan on Friday. It's not clear if this
Right
missile
here
caused the casualties. The military initially listed another service member as missing, although human remains have been found.
These are heroes.
Oh, wow. They actually did find human remains. So
The ultimate price.
A fourth service member died Saturday in Iraq while detonating a downed Iranian drone. The Department of War says in the last 2 weeks since...
Oh, it was a downed Iranian drone. I thought it was one of our drones. See, this is... I'm glad that she just said that right there and I happened to catch it. It was a downed Iranian drone that killed him. Oh, shit.
This member died Saturday in Iraq while detonating a downed Iranian drone.
So he was detonating it and killed himself. Oh, my God.
The Department of War says in the last 2 weeks since the ceasefire ended, roughly 100 service members have been injured, with 96% already returning to duty. The chief Pentagon spokesperson writing, quote, the vast majority of injuries experienced were minor concussions. President Trump today warning every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over. Democrats argue it's not enough.
We owe these patriots, we owe their families. The American people deserve answers from the president on how he's going to bring this conflict to an end.
In the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. naval blockade remains in effect. And now the Houthis, the Iranian-backed proxy in Yemen, announcing their own naval blockade on Saudi Arabia. The Bab el-Mandeb Strait is a...
Oh, man. I knew that this was kind of coming regarding this strait over here. So they're only blocking it for Saudi Arabia as of right now. They're not blockading the rest of the traffic. Supposedly. I'm going to pull up live AIS right now to see the shipping routes, and I'm going to show them to you and see if there's any slow, if it's slowed down at all.
Corridor
We'll
to the
see.
Red Sea. Cutting
Give me a
Saudi
second.
oil shipments destined for Asia could reduce global oil supply by 7% at a time when the current conflict has already slashed global oil supply by roughly 10%. Saudi's foreign ministry now condemning the maritime embargo.
Okay, real quick before we get too far from this. Here we go. Let me pull this up, live AIS of what's happening right this second. Okay, so this is the Strait of Hormuz right now. Let's go down to Yemen, though, and see their shipping route. Okay, so the shipping route looks like it's still doing its normal movements right now. So, again, remember, this blockade is only for Saudi Arabia right now. So nothing in and out of Saudi Arabia from this side. But, of course, they can go up through Europe, so... Anyways, let me go ahead and exit out of this, share the right screen again to get back into this report.
The White House says that pressure on Iran will cause gas and oil prices to plummet, although today's national average has climbed to $4 per gallon and U.S. oil reserves have dropped to their lowest level since 1983. In Washington, Alex Ho.
Real quick, yes, by the way, we are officially in overtime. You know what they say on overtime? No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Send in your freaking money. Maybe you just need to obey.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Absolutely. That's the best propaganda you're going to get all day. I promise that. All right, let's go ahead and get into this.
Fox News.
All right, thank you so much for that, Alex. We're joined right now by retired Lieutenant General Karen Gibson.
I really don't care about no retired person talking about this. We already know what has been struck and what else has been said. Let me see. Of course, we saw what Donald Trump has already hit that post. We already covered that. Okay, well, I guess that is it for this one. Let's go ahead and move on into this interesting development that's coming out as of this morning, like 1 a.m. Mexican drug kingpin El Mayo sentenced to life in prison. Now, I guess this is somebody that's a part of the Sinaloa cartel and has been like a wanted person from the Sinaloa cartel for a long time. So apparently he is now in custody and obviously being charged or sentenced to murders or sentenced to life in prison. Come on, Mac, get your fucking words straight. All right, here we go.
All right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I do want to talk about another story today out of New York as a Mexican drug kingpin, El Mayo, was sentenced on Monday to life in prison in the United States after a plea deal last year in which he admitted to shipping millions of kilograms of cocaine over decades as the leader of the violent Sinaloa cartel. We're following this closely here on Live Now from Fox about this, saying Ismael El Mayo Zamdaba Baba was sentenced to life in prison Monday for his role as a top leader of the drug cartel, the powerful, violent drug syndicate he ran for decades alongside El Chapo Joaquin Guzman. As this case, obviously very important. We followed it since late last year. I do want to provide some more information about this.
Yes, let's get the likes up, everybody. I very much appreciate it.
In handing down the sentence at the hearing in Brooklyn, that federal courthouse, the U.S. District Judge Brian Cogan said that even though he had no choice but to impose a life sentence, he believed it was the right punishment. He said, quote, the almost unimaginable amount of drugs attributable to him and the number of murders.
Damn, it costs you almost $35 to fill up your motorcycle? Holy shit.
That we can document is enough to justify Congress's decision to make this a mandatory life sentence. Zambada agreed to a plea deal in August 2025 to charges including racketeering, conspiracy, continuing criminal enterprise. After the Justice Department said it would not seek the death penalty, the charges carried a mandatory term of life in prison. So let's take you out to the DOJ talking about the sentencing that came down today.
I'm Joseph Nocella, the United States Attorney for the Eastern District of New York. And with me today, our Assistant Attorney General, Tyson Duva of the Justice Department's Criminal Division, Terry Cole, Administrator of the Drug Enforcement Administration, Matthew Milholland from Homeland Security's Investigations, Jeff Lee Tyler, Special Agent in charge of the FBI's Washington Field Office, Jason Redding Quinones, United States Attorney for the Southern District of Florida, and Justin Simmons, United States Attorney for the Western District of Texas. A short time ago, Ismael Zambada Garcia, also known as El Mayo, was sentenced to life in prison. El Mayo was the world's single biggest drug trafficker this century. He joins fellow cartel leader Joaquin El Chapo Guzman in serving a life sentence following El Chapo's conviction here in Brooklyn in 2019. Over 3 decades, El Mayo and El Chapo built the Sinaloa cartel into the largest drug trafficking organization that the world has ever seen.
I'm also going to speed this up a little bit, by the way. I forgot to do that.
This criminal empire flooded the United States and the world with deadly drugs, earned billions of dollars in profits, and then laundered those billions through the financial system. El Mayo and El Chapo corrupted numerous officials in Mexico to protect their criminal empire. And when corruption did not work, they used horrific violence, including torture, kidnapping, and murder. After El Chapo's conviction here in the Eastern District of New York, El Mayo took over exclusive control of the Sinaloa cartel. El Mayo then expanded the drug cartel's dealing to include fentanyl and other drugs, making the cartel deadlier and more profitable than ever. El Mayo continued as the cartel's leader until he was arrested in 2024. A life sentence, cut off from family, cut off from freedom, cut off from the outside world, is fitting punishment for the harm that El Mayo has caused to countless victims. During El Mayo's control of the cartel, tens of thousands of parents lost children to addiction, overdose, and drug-related violence. I hope that El Mayo's life sentence brings some small measure of comfort to those families who have suffered
exported too much cocaine, homie.
So much pain. The message today is clear. Drug dealing is a dead end, not just figuratively, but literally. Drug kingpins die in prison. El Mayo's fate is to die in prison. And with the amount of blood that drenches his hands, it is only fitting, and he deserves exactly that. Today's sentence reflects decades of work by dedicated public servants. Thank you to the Eastern District of New York's prosecution team, Assistant United States Attorneys Francisco Navarro, Robert Pollack, Adam Amir, Rebecca Urquiola, and Laura Mantell. The Southern District of Florida's prosecution team, Assistant United States Attorneys Monique Otera and Andrea Goldberg. The Western District of Texas's prosecution team, AUSA's Antonio Franco
What's up, Dragon Classy? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat.
And Kyle Myers, and the Department of Justice trial attorneys Jay Sporn and Kirk Handrich. Thanks also to the United States Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Illinois, the Southern District of California, and the Central District of California for their contributions. Thank you also to our law enforcement partners, the FBI, HSI, and DEA, and others. Many of the law enforcement officers in these agencies risked their lives over decades to bring two of the world's
What's up, Joe Sears? Great to see you in the chat, by the way.
kingpins
Good
to
morning.
justice. Finally, I'd like to thank Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche for his leadership. And we'll now turn the podium over to Assistant Attorney General Duva.
No, we don't really need to do that. Let's go ahead and see if there's any other, thing that is announced here during any of this. It doesn't look like it. Okay, so they just have a long little press conference there. Okay, let's go and move on into our next story. Tropical storm Bertha strengthens in the Gulf, and this is happening just as of 2 hours ago. So I figured that, hey, the people in the South definitely need to pay a little bit of attention of what's going on here.
8:49 on the East Coast and 5:49 on the West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow, and I'll be here with you for the next several hours.
We're only going to go over this very quickly
as we break down all of your top stories and live events from across the country and across the world. And right now, you are taking a look at our live XRAD radar system as we follow all of the developments here on what is now Tropical Storm Bertha. There are many areas of the Gulf that are paying very close attention to it. You can see that cone of uncertainty, as it's sometimes known. And right there, smack dab in the middle, is New Orleans, Louisiana. Brandy Campbell with Fox Weather is live out there right now, joining us live with a look at how conditions are shaping up. And Brandy, doesn't look too...
Man, it looks like Houston, or Houston, right, was the end point. Houston and right outside of Dallas is kind of, this is where it's like headed towards. New Orleans going to get fucking creamed. And so is looks like Houston, San Antonio.
Is
Damn.
Live out there right now, joining us live with a look at how conditions are shaping up.
Look at
Brandy,
this.
Doesn't look too bad now, but it's kind of that calm before the storm.
It looks like it's blowing out there, man. That shit doesn't look that great.
It really is, Josh. Here in New Orleans, we are under a tropical storm watch, but we do have parts of coastal Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama that are under warnings at this point. Our Fox Forecast Center telling me here in New Orleans, it depends on how the storm track changes today and how the storm's formation changes today on what kind of impacts we can see. So it's a TBD here.
So I'll be obviously keeping an eye on that. She obviously, when she says that it could change just within a day, of course, I'm going to follow up on it.
For the city, if we'll have limited impacts or if we will see more in terms of rain and wind, for an example. Now, I am here along Lake Pontchartrain where it's a little choppy out here, but we are going to expect a little bit more action. Lake Pontchartrain is under storm surge watches, so we could see up to 3 feet of storm surge here in Lake Pontchartrain. And the same goes for parts of coastal Louisiana. So we're talking from Morgan City going east to the mouth of the Mississippi River, and it's from the mouth of the Mississippi.
I love y'all's fucking attitude about shit. You're like, bring it on, motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Hell yeah, I like
River
that.
Going to the Florida-Alabama state line that we could see maybe 2 to 4 feet of storm surge. And then once you hit Florida, the coastline there, up to 3 feet of storm surge. And so that's one impact that we're going to be looking at here. And then, of course, rain will be another factor. But a lot of that's really offshore in the Gulf right now. Meanwhile, we do have cities like New Orleans who are doing the work to prepare for that just-in-case factor. In fact, yesterday, the city opened up several sandbagging locations. Emergency man.
Yes, Prez, you should be in the Discord, right? So just make sure you take some pictures or some shit.
Management said they are monitoring the system,
keep us updated,
stating heavy rain would be the primary hazard here for the city of New Orleans. And with that being said, the Sewage and Water Board department here in New Orleans, they also said they've retrained some of their staff to make sure they are ready to go for whatever impacts we have, but also even staffing some locations, some pumping stations that normally don't have people there, again, to make sure they are.
What you got, homie?
Are prepared. Meanwhile, take a look at all of these locations where we have oil rigs offshore in the Gulf. There's a lot of them out there, and again, majority of the storm.
So when I was moving here to Alabama, I took the the 10 all the way through, and then to the 12, actually, where you go above New Orleans instead of dropping down on the 10 through New Orleans. I went above and took the 12 back onto the 10 or whatever it is. Anyways, I stayed in Lake Charles and I really liked it. It was in May. of 24 when I did that. And it was an entire storm, the entire drive all the way through. I mean, the storm literally was just following me on the 3-day adventure that I took driving my way out here.
The storms, I should say, within Tropical Storm Bertha are actually offshore. And so Chevron told Fox Weather they are shutting in production at its Petronius facility, moving all associated personnel onshore. They also said, we are transporting non-essential personnel from our Tubular Bells and Blind Faith platforms at our onshore facilities. We are following our storm preparedness procedures and paying close attention to the forecast.
I mean, look, it is building up. I mean, that is something to keep an eye on. For damn sure.
Keeping track of the system. So as we look ahead, tropical storm conditions are possible here in Louisiana late Tuesday night going into Wednesday, with the center of it still forecasted to approach the Louisiana coastline midweek. So of course, make sure you guys are tuned into Fox Weather. We'll have the latest and fine details available for you all on air as Bertha approaches land. Back to you, Josh.
And Brandy, I always ask you this, but as folks are kind of bracing for this, are you still seeing a lot of folks that are kind of out and about there in New Orleans? Sadly, they're familiar with what a storm can do, but are they still?
Oh, they're definitely fucking on top of it. I'm sure they have. I'm sure everyone there has like alerts on their phone nonstop. You know, kind of like if you're in Tornado Alley, it's pretty smart to have some tornado applications or notifications if you live in the area. I think it's being well prepared,
kind of out and about and doing their thing ahead of this.
Yeah, we are more than familiar with tropical systems. This is our second one this year. We dealt with the remnants of Tropical Storm Arthur toward the beginning of the season, and there's two sides to it. There are people who are going to prepare, people who showed up to get those sandbags yesterday.
Yeah, in context, this is not like a humongous storm or anything. It's just, hey, it is something that is brewing, that is coming this way, you know?
But then there's also people who aren't too concerned just by looking at the forecast and what we're expecting so far. I just spoke to a woman who was exercising here on the lakefront, and she's just saying, listening to the meteorologist, she's feeling okay so far. But again, we still have a little bit of time before it gets closer and those details of impacts are refined. So it's a TBD. Stay tuned to see what we'll feel here.
For sure. Well, Brady Campbell there at Fox Weather, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Hopefully things stay good.
And of course, we're going to be following all of the stuff, that every story that we were breaking this morning. Of course, we're going to do our best to follow all of them and follow up on them. Okay, so anyways, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the way out. Double tap that screen as well, by the way, if you're on the vertical side. Hit that subscribe button, because why not? And it's free. So listen, we'll be back tomorrow morning with more of the world's madness. As always, we always appreciate you. Thank you for your engagement. You guys becoming members and staying members, allowing me to do this Monday through Friday. And then, of course, members only on Saturday morning. It's a good time. Good time. All right, everybody. God bless everybody. Much love, honor, respect. We'll see you guys here tomorrow morning. Much love, and be safe out there.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire.